This interview is brought to you by Maximus.
Hello from California. I'm Ross John Fortune from GovCIO Media and Research. We're here at AFCEA USNI West 2026, where defense leaders are talking about the future of national security technology. Joining me now is Louis Koplin, Program Executive Officer, PEO Digital at the Department of the Navy. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So a big theme of the National Defense Strategy, as well as the acquisition, modernization, arsenal of freedom stuff is speed. How is the Department of the Navy changing the culture of speed and risk and how that all interacts?
Yeah, it's something that we've been passionate about at PEO Digital for a while, and it's really spread not just from us, but from all corners to really be the central pillar of where we're going. So we often talk about the iron triangle of cost, schedule, and performance. Talk about often we pursued exquisite performance at the cost and schedule. Now we're trying to invert that, say the most important thing is to deliver capability early and often that provides real value to the warfighter. Sometimes that's going to look like less performance up front, but actually it's going to be more performance because we're actually delivering, we're actually learning, we're getting the feedback loops. So instead of waiting 3 or 5 years to get your first bit of feedback by delivering things in 3 or 5 weeks, now you're getting feedback immediately. And in the end, 5 years later, you're going to have delivered so much more capability, so much faster for so much less money than you would have otherwise. It's really amazing. The frame we use to help us do that, we have these technology investment horizons. So we say the things we're doing now are Horizon 1. These are scaled enterprise services. Everyone's using them. We think there are newer and better ways to do things, either because there's new technology or new adversary threat, or our warfighters come back to us and said, really, could you fix this thing? So what we want to do is we want to look for something that's all the way out in what we call Horizon 3. These are technology advancements that we're monitoring. Someone else is doing them. Maybe it's industry. Maybe there's a CRADA. Maybe it's DARPA. Maybe it's DIU. So that's my favorite horizon because it's other people's money. And now we're going to look for something that we can pull into Horizon 2 and place a small bet on a small pilot where either we can validate our thesis and place a larger bet, or we can fail fast, low cost, low amount of time, take that learning and iterate. So we take those small bets, the ones that pay off, we turn into large bets, and those that really mature in terms of capability and use cases, we're going to scale into our new enterprise services and shove the old ones out the back door in our cattle drive so that we're not looking at net increases in the portfolio value. We're looking to divest to invest.
I want to pick on the feedback notion of it, because you mentioned warfighters and things like that. What does that look like, and how does that help with this risk management, the new risk management mindset?
Yeah. It's really about integrating those warfighters who are our customers into our teams. So we want these long-lived teams that are as independent of other teams as possible in a modular open systems approach, mostly, good at systems engineering, high coherence, low coupling. So the things need to come together. The capabilities are bigger than any team or even team of teams can deliver, but the eaches need to be able to go at pace. They can't be blocked by other teams. And when the customer comes back and says, we all thought this was going to be great, but the pizza tastes awful. Let's try a different way. Okay, that team needs to be able to iterate at the pace of that feedback. So having that constant contact, putting the people doing the work in direct contact with the end users, even if they're on ships, even if they're underway and without comms at times, is really critical. And that's how we get out of our own way and just let those people do what they need to do.
Yeah, they're the ones using it, right?
Yes.
The stand-up of the PAE is, in a way, it's sort of a shift towards portfolio level management rather than, isolating things. And I know I've heard a lot of talk about here, but those kinds of things and that portfolio level management. So how is this going to impact acquisition at the Department of Navy?
Yeah, the PAEs are very exciting. It's a really big change in a very short period of time. And we don't know 100% what that's going to look like in practice, but the NDAA told us what it's going to look like in theory, right? So we're going to have a single accountable official, and we're going to align authorities so that that accountable official can actually deliver responsibly on what they're accountable for. And that's a bit of a shift because we've had a shared responsibility model in the past where different elements of the organization own different aspects, and everyone was trying to collaborate, but you stand where you sit and you've got different inputs and outputs and pressures. And so we just weren't moving quickly enough. And there were just too many well-intentioned folks learning from past lessons that maybe no longer applying the same way, saying, well, in the past we did this thing, the Pentagon Wars video, if you've ever seen that, Bradley fighting vehicle. And okay, we learned lessons from that, but the same lessons don't apply now with the growth of the commercial sector and dual-use technology and digital feedback. So how do we refactor our lessons learned to make them fit the current challenges? And that's what the PA is really doing, saying the entire acquisition workforce is going to be accountable to the PAE. We're going to have these large portfolios. We're going to drive these end-user informed trades. And we're going to sit down with the service chiefs and the requirements and resource sponsors, as well as the fleet operators, to make those in a communal fashion. But it's going to really emphasize speed and time to field.
This brings me into one of my favorite topics, and I can tie in the National Defense Strategy and generally the new administration, the year and change administration, meritocracy, measurements. There is accountability, all that stuff. So how do you measure success in this world? This is a new kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff. How do you measure success to say, like, all right, this worked, this didn't work, that kind of stuff?
I think the primary measure is going to be speed.
Okay.
Did you actually ship things? And a lot of times people say, we're doing Agile, and say, how many times have you shipped a software product? And 2 years ago, things measured in years, sometimes many years, and we're trying to get down to months, weeks, days, hours, seconds. If there's a cyber threat and we need to maneuver the information environment, can we turn that around? Can that be automated at computer machine speed? Because adversaries coming at us at machine speed. So speed, I think, is going to be a primary way we measure. The other one is really about mission engineering and those warfighter outputs, and that's really the voice of the customer. So we've got a whole infrastructure that does things like that, the warfare development commands and the weapon tactics instructors. So the way we teach the fleet to fight is going to be reflective of the quality of the solutions we give them. And when the way we teach them to fight changes to take advantage of these things, then that's a vote of confidence that we've delivered something meaningful to that mission area. So the mission feedback comes back to us that way. And I think those are going to be the two things. How quickly do we get things, and how much do they impact the way the mission's executed?
That's ultimately what I imagine what everyone here at this conference is about, and generally everybody in the Department of the Navy is as well. Liz, thanks so much for doing this.
All right. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, of course.
Federal agency missions are complex, and innovation can't wait. Maximus is solving problems and streamlining operations while delivering results at speed and scale, providing precision and consistency, uniting strategy, advanced technology, process, and execution for a more efficient government. Every program, every service, every time. That's Maximus. That's innovation forward. Learn more at maximus.com.